Hello, I'm Lon Schiffbauer, and welcome to this, the final installment of our Tuckman Model series. Now, as you know, certainly by now, in this video series we've been discussing the 5 stages that teams go through in coming together and eventually disbanding. These are forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. And since this is the final video in this Tuckman series, today we get to talk about adjourning. Now, I say the Tuckman series because what we've done here is talk about how teams come together. What we've not yet discussed is what teams need to do to become effective performing teams. And that's what's going to be coming after this series. But right now, we're all about adjourning. So, where are we? Well, the Avengers have won. They've beaten the aliens or what have you. Chikari, I think they were called, right? But you know what? Even in adjourning, there are things that need to be taken care of and sewn up, and that's what we're going to talk about here. So during the adjourning phase, the first thing we do, well, we're starting to say goodbye to one another. And this is easier said than done. After all, we've been through quite a bit together. I mean, not just the battle, that whole storming thing. And through these battles, through these challenges, through these experiences, we've developed a pretty good friendship with one another, or at least respect and admiration for the skills that we've all brought to the table. And so the idea of leaving all this behind could be a little bit difficult. And related to this, there's apprehension over the impending loss of this team. After all, forming this team and getting us to the performing stage was not easy. The idea of walking away from such a high-performing team, but you know what? The job is done, the team isn't needed, and so it's time for everybody to go their separate ways. But this is not very easy for a lot of us.
They've gone their separate ways. Some pretty extremely far. We get into a situation like this again, what happens then?
They'll come back.
Then, of course, it shouldn't be a surprise that it's during this stage that we submit our final reports and evaluations. Yeah, not terribly exciting or sexy, but you know what? The bureaucracy reigns supreme no matter where we are, even in the Avengers. Then, of course, there are probably just some tiny loose ends that need taking care of. I mean, yes, the project is over, the foe has been vanquished, if you will, but there are still one or two little things that some of the individuals or maybe a sub-team or two need to go kind of take care of. Finally, it's time to celebrate. I mean, we saved the Earth, right? Well, we didn't, but they did. Point is, we should take a moment and really celebrate our accomplishments and the team that we've become and the friendships and camaraderies that have come about as a result. All of this means that adjourning can be a bittersweet time. On one hand, we're really glad to be done. That was not easy, and it's nice to have that behind us. On the other hand, the joy and just absolute pleasure that we derive from working together and creating that performing team, that's not something that comes around very often. And so the idea of walking away from this can really fill us with mixed emotions. Nevertheless, life goes on, individuals go on, there are new challenges, there are new opportunities, and there are new teams to fill. And so it's time to kind of put a bow on this, celebrate our accomplishments, and move on. And there we are, the Avengers as seen through the lens of the Tuckman model. I hope you've enjoyed this at least half as much as I've enjoyed making them. Now this does wrap up this Tuckman model series, but we're not quite done. After all, these are the stages of team development, but now we want to talk about how we actually come together as a team and work effectively together. In other words, how do we get from storming to norming? And if at all possible, how do we get to performing? And that's what we'll be talking about next. So I hope you stick with me. Have a great day.